TSN Bar Down's Eric Kirk is here. Eric, good to see you this morning. You know, we've been running some clips from Ilya Samsonov today talking about maybe him jokingly referring to maybe needing glasses. He hasn't looked that strong, the goaltending for the Leafs right now. Is that a concern?
I think goaltending has been a concern for the Leafs for the last 5 years. Since Frederik Andersen was basically in that crease, it just hasn't been a spot that you think that the Leafs just feel comfortable in. So whether Joseph Woll will take over this crease by the end of the season, whether they go out and get an entire new goaltender, I'm really not sure what the Leafs' plans is. But yeah, that is definitely a question of concern.
Let's talk a little bit about Nylander. He's off to an incredible start, but is there a reason the Leafs won't resign him now? And is there a concern for that moving forward?
I think every fan in the building, every manager up in the press box knows that William Nylander is an unbelievable player. The problem is the Leafs have given unbelievable players these monster contracts, and it's just coming down to cap situations where I think we all know William Nylander deserves north of $9 million, maybe even $10 million if you're willing to give it to him. It's just hard to justify when you're paying 4 players over $10 million in a cap situation.
Yeah, that's true. And Eric, you know, we've talked about the goaltending, but what's in front of the goaltender, of course, is defense. Maybe that's more of a priority because as much as they have 2 wins on this season, in Game 1 against the Habs, I think there were 5 goals got by, 4 goals getting by in Game 2. The last 2 games, of course, they've been on the wrong side of. How much of a concern do you think is there now about the Leafs D?
I think their D-core is actually pretty solid up and down the lineup. They just really need Timothy Liljegren to take that next step and solidify himself as a middle pairing defenseman. Their top pair looks really good with Morgan Rielly up there. He's really playing more of a defensive game this season. So I really do like their top 6D. I just need to see a bit more from Liljegren. And if the Leafs don't get that, you might see them make a move at the deadline.
All right, let's switch gears things over to now the NFL predictions. We're picking up Week 7, the matchup. I want to know what you're thinking about it between the Buffalo Bills and the New England Patriots.
Yeah, these Bills have just had question marks, all of them. They've had injuries up and down the lineup, and then they have an ugly loss in London, England. They come back to the U.S., and they have an ugly win against the Giants, and all wins count as wins. But I really want to see the Buffalo Bills go into a divisional rival game against a New England Patriots team that has not looked good at all this season and really show that they are an elite team. Like, I would like them to win by 25 or more points to prove to me that this team has everything that they've said they have and that there's no question marks on the table, because it's just been a couple weeks back to back that we just haven't seen Josh Allen performing at the top of his game and this defense really needing to hold them into their games.
Yeah, and that's true. And the Patriots just have been brutal this year. So I think, not that I'm a betting guy, but I would take that 25-point spread likely. Eric, in the meantime, really quick, can you give us a sense of the Dolphins, Eagles? These are a couple of big teams this season.
Yeah, just 2 juggernauts on Sunday Night Football. What more can you ask for? I expect a very high-scoring game. 2 defenses that are going to have a lot to handle on their plate with Tyreek Hill on one side and A.J. Brown on the other. Yeah. So high-scoring affair. I love the total points scored, but yeah, it should be a really good game.
Indeed.
Indeed, and we're excited to watch it. TSN Bar Down's Eric Kirk, thanks for joining us this morning.
Thank you.